It's been a long day and I needed this. Let's get right to opening it. My papers. All right, y'all. Here's our card. All right. I'm so excited. Oh, you guys. Let's open these right away. I already know what this is going on. I don't even have to finish opening it. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. This one is Old English Countryside. And then we have Spring Tartan, which is beautiful. I love the green in that. Oh my gosh. This is called Secrets of the Garden, I think. And yes, and this is Marshland Guardian. Oh my goodness. Here's our little thank you. It's so cute. We have Completely Coral for Sweet Pickins Milk Paint. We have Acadia, Pear. And, oh, I love that. Damask. And then we've got, this looks like Water Lily and Cake Batter. You guys know I love Cake Batter. I'm so excited to dig in. Let me get going. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Sandra, and I'm the owner here at Midwest Charm. I specialize in repurposed, upcycled vintage home decor and all of your DIY needs. You can find everything linked below, including my website, all of our social medias, and I have included a list of what we used in today's video below as well. For project number 1, we are going to use the painted photographer rice paper Marshland Guardian and this little faux blackboard that I thrifted. And we are going to go in with White Swan and put down 2 good coats of this so that our papers can be really bright and pop. I really want the colors to show in all of these papers. They are so beautiful and we really want to showcase those. Once we have the 2 coats of paint finished, we're going to grab our rice paper and fit it to our frame. And how I do that is I go around where I want this placed with my fingernail and just kind of crease the paper. And then when I go in to cut it, I'm going to cut it just a little bit beyond that, just in case I didn't press down firm enough or I have any boo-boos or I don't line it up correctly. Then we're going to go ahead and fit this into place. We are going to use our misting bottle and wet this paper down. That loosens up the fibers and it allows it to stretch a little bit and also helps so get all those wrinkles out. And then as it dries, it pulls tight and it leaves it absolutely beautifully smooth. And for our decoupage medium today, we are going to be using DIY's Liquid Patina in Crystal Clear Chandelier. And we are going to go ahead and just put a little bit of this down and then line up our beautiful Marshland Guardian rice paper and then rub that completely smooth and continue this process all the way down until the full piece is adhered. Once it is all adhered and we're going to smooth it down, I'm also going to make sure that all of the edges are completely pressed down and tight up against the frame. And then we're going to pull out our crystal clear chandelier liquid patina and go in with one more coat for the top coat. I sat and looked at this for a while and decided this just needed a little bit more. So I'm going to go into our box and take out our DIY water lily and a little bit of our white swan and take a brush and mix that. And I think I misted this here too. And then I'm just going to go in and dry brush on the inner part of that frame all the way around until I like the coloring. Whenever I feel like it's just dried up a little bit too much, I do mist the little pile of paint there, rub my brush through it again until I can get exactly the coloring I want. And once this is all dry, I'm going to go in with some more crystal clear chandelier liquid patina and seal that all up. Please stick around to the very end of the video to see all of these pieces finished up. For project number 2, I'm going to take a Lazy Susan that I thrifted, and we are going to grab our spring tartan paper and our Acadia pear paint. But first, we're going to go in with white swan and give the center of this Lazy Susan 2 coats and let it dry completely. We're going to go ahead and fit this paper to our Lazy Susan. And again, we're going to go around the piece with my fingernail. And then I'm going to grab scissors, trim around that, leaving a little bit of excess. And you'll see here towards the end, I cut a little bit too close to the line in spots, but I fixed it, and you'll also see that. I always love these tartan prints, and this is so classic spring. I am obsessed. We're going to go ahead and mist this paper, and again, we're going to loosen up the fibers in it that it'll go on really, really nice and smooth and wrinkle-free, and then it'll dry nice and tight and smooth. It's beautiful. Use a mister bottle, you guys. It'll save you a huge, huge hassle. Once I get the paper where I want it, I go in with my first strip of liquid patina, and then I'm going to go in and smooth that out with my brush and my fingers as well, and get this, I didn't line it up quite right, y'all, so we're going to get this relayed down and back into place. We're going to get this all smoothed out and then go back in and alternate placing down more liquid patina, laying the paper down on top of that, and then smoothing it out. Once we have completed that, we're going to go in with our liquid patina and put a good coat on the top of the whole piece. And here you can see me, I'm just kind of moving a couple of little air bubbles that got trapped in there. Usually those dry flat, but if I can squish them out with my paintbrush, I definitely go ahead and do that. Now we're going to take out our Acadia Pear paint, and I'm going to be using just an artist brush for this part. And I'm going to go around the edge and then the interior little lip and paint the top, the interior lip, and then the outside edge as well. And this will all get 2 coats each. And as you can see, the fact that this is a Lazy Susan has made this so incredibly easy to paint. I just kind of spin and leave my brush in the same general area. It made it really simple. And you guys, I absolutely adore this piece. And I do add one final touch to this, which you will see at the end. So make sure you guys stick around and see what I do to it. Remember when I said that it wasn't perfectly done? Well, I went around those spots with some Acadia pear and some of the water lily and filled in the pieces that were missing, so you can't even tell anymore. We sealed it back up, and now to wait for it to dry. Project number 3 I've had around for a while. It was just this cute little galvanized planter, but I didn't like the label on it, and I've waited to do this for so long and just wanted the right paper for it. But first we're going to go in with our white swan. You can see I'm almost out here, guys. We're going to put 2 good coats of white swan on this little frame part and let it dry. We are going to be using the Painted Photographer's Rice Paper Secrets of the Garden, and I'm going to cut out one of the smaller sections of this and measure exactly where I want it to fit, again going along with my thumbnail and creasing it and then going in and cutting those parts off. And then we will be taking our liquid patina and putting that on the whole white space and placing our little piece down. So we're going to mist the paper once again, and then we are going to go in with our liquid patina and get that on this whole white rectangle here, and then place our piece down and smooth it out and put one more coat of liquid patina on the top of it. Now, because there is some white showing on those edges, I'm going to take some crinoline and some layered chocolate and mist my a spot on the paper as well. My paper here is plastic backed, so I can use it for mixing and it doesn't leak through to my table. But it also keeps that water from absorbing, so I go ahead and get this all mixed up. And we are going to do some color matching on the edges here. Using an artist brush, I'm going to make combinations of this paint blended 2 colors here, some lighter, some darker, maybe putting it down in blocks and blending some of it in further and just really working with it so that it blends in with the back of Connie's paper with those brown and cream tones. And I'm going to do this on both sides. So this paper has some typography in the background. So I'm going to go in with my Iron Orchid Designs Ephemeral Melange stamp, and I'm going to pick one little corner of this that has similar sized type, and I am going to ink this up, and I am using stone gray ink. I don't want it to be really bold, and the stone gray is a really good like background. And then I'm just going to go along the edge and press it down with my fingers, and then go in on the other edge and kind of rub my fingers over that to get some of that typography down. And don't forget to clean up those stamps right away. I just keep a stash of baby wipes and wipe them down and let them dry once I'm done. Project number 4, I knew exactly what I was going to do with this paper when I saw it. I'm going to take this tray I've been holding on to for a while. I think it was $3.50. I cleaned it up really well. We're going to use Roycycled Decoupage paper in Old Countryside, and we are going to give the base of this 2 good coats of white swan. I am using my perfectionist brush because it gets into those corners beautifully, and you do not need to be perfect in doing this step because we are going to be painting the sides and bottom in a different color. I just want to get this paint down and dried so that we can move on to the next step. We're going to be using our completely coral Sweet Pickins milk paint for this. You are going to use equal scoops of paint to equal scoops of warm water. You're going to stir this for a few minutes until all those clumps are out, and then set this aside for about 5 to 10 minutes to let those pigments absorb. And because I was not going for a chippy look on this piece, and it did have a bit of shine, I did go in with my Extra Bond, which is a Sweet Pickins product, and I poured about 1 scoop full into the mixture, stirred it up, and then I painted it on. I ended up doing 2 coats on the bottom of the tray and the sides, both inside and outside sides, and around the handles. One of the things I love about milk paint is that it is unpredictable, but like I said, I wasn't looking for chipping necessarily on this piece, so I did add that Extra Bond in, but I love the finish of this paint. I sanded this down at the end with a 220 and sealed it up, and you guys, it's so buttery smooth and so beautiful. I can't wait for you to see the finished piece. Now we're going to go in with an artist brush, a little bit smaller one, to do the inside edges of this piece. I'm not being 100% perfect because, once again, we are going to be going in and adding that paper to the bottom. And I can also go in and touch up with either color that I need to while I'm doing this process. So if I get a little bit of the coral on the white, we can go in with the white. If I get some not enough coral, we can go in and do these touch-ups at the end. Now we're going to go in with our Old English countryside and fit the paper where I want it to go. I knew I wanted to get a little bit of the blue in there, but I wanted to have a bunch of that little cottage. I just wanted to make sure I had what I envisioned on my white area. And then I go along the edge with my fingernails to kind of give me an idea of where I need to cut this, and then go around and cut it a little bit bigger than where I have rubbed down. You see me going in here with the scissors, and I am just measuring where the corners are and snipping down at an angle so that it will lay flat in each of the corners. That will make it easier. As it dries, it won't pull quite so hard and will lay flat into those corners, also making it easier to get the excess paper out. So we are going to mist our paper and take out our liquid patina. We're going to add a strip of that liquid patina, line up our paper, and I do have like a lip on that top, which will make it a lot easier to line up. We're going to smooth out the paper, and then we're just going to go back and forth doing those two things until we have the entire paper down. Once we have the paper completely down, I do go in with my paintbrush along the edges and make sure that the liquid patina goes all the way up to the very edge so that those edges lay nice and flat. And then I'm going to do the same in the corners and put an entire coat across that whole top. And before all is said and done, I'm going to go in with 2 coats of Big Top and put that on the interior of this as well so that it is nice and durable and can be used with liquids with care. And here come your final projects, you guys. Make sure to post below which item was your favorite.